All right, what's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome to another episode of the Jake Fletcher Show. I'm Jake Fletcher here, and really excited and proud to be bringing you guys this episode, because the purpose of this episode is to help you find your purpose, or at least to start brainstorming or thinking of possible greater callings. And at the end, I'm actually going to discuss mine. And a lot of people sum up finding a higher purpose as just simply helping others. But in my opinion, it doesn't have to be that simple, right? It can be, but it's not necessarily that simple. And I'm not talking about goals here, like buying a house or starting a business. What we're talking about is actually your purpose. So something that will truly fulfill you on the deepest level and give you that deepest, level of fulfillment throughout your life. All right. So, first, we have to talk about what stops us from finding our purpose. And in my opinion, that's essentially being closed-minded and not wanting to get out of our comfort zone. Okay, so what I mean by that is, if you're somebody who's kind of closed-minded to stuff, it's a lot less likely that you're going to be receptive to, whether it's messages from the universe or, conversations with other people or whatever the signs might be that are going to illuminate to you, hey, here's an idea, here's something that means a lot to me, and maybe I should pursue this. Maybe this could be some kind of greater calling, right? So we have to be sort of open-minded enough to receive these sort of inclinations, and we also have to be willing to get out of our comfort zone, okay? You might have heard the expression before, your comfort zone will kill you. In this case, it's not necessarily going to kill you, but being in your comfort zone might stop you from finding your higher calling, your greater purpose in life, because it might be a little bit uncomfortable at first, right? Something that's going to be, revolutionary to you or to others or to the world, or it doesn't even have to be revolutionary, but, something that's going to be a greater purpose for you in life is not necessarily going to be easy, all right? Now, there's also like a financial component of it, right? Because people who are, in a state of poverty, it's a lot harder to think about, hey, what's my greater calling and purpose in life going to be, right? And this is natural, I think, because when you're in that position, and I've been there before, I've been broke as hell, cashing in my coins at the Coinstar, every couple times a week, just to get a little extra $10, so I've lived day by day before. And I know that when I was in those times, I was a musician, so I did have a greater calling of I wanted my music to affect people and to get out to a large audience and stuff like that. But at the same time, that was more of a broader goal, right? And I didn't have as clear defined steps to achieve that goal. It was more just like, make good music and hopefully it'll happen, But what I mean to say is that when you're in that state of poverty, like I was, like many people are, like most of the world is, it's hard to come up with what your greater purpose is. But although people reach varying levels of, financial success in life, I truly believe that we can all have some sort of greater purpose despite what level of financial ability we have. So your greater purpose could be related to even to just raising your kids or being dedicated to your family, or to be the first to do X, Y, and Z, or, whatever it is. Or it could just be as simple as relaxing and enjoying your time on earth, or conquering your fears, or leaving a lasting impact on the world, etc., right? So there's all kinds of examples you could think of what your greater purpose might be. It doesn't have to be something world-changing for everybody. It could be simple or it could be complicated, so there's no right or wrong. But in my opinion, to cheat yourself of attaining your greatest version of yourself, I feel like that's wrong. I feel like that's kind of a wasted life. I'm not going to lie. There's no way to really sugarcoat it. If you're just sitting around and not really achieving at your highest potential, or reaching that greatest version of yourself, or what you're really truly meant to do, that's kind of you're wasting time, right? So in my opinion, there's no true plateaus in life. You're either growing or you're dying, right? So you might be growing at a slow rate, but you're still growing, okay? If you ever feel like you're on a plateau, you're not actually on a plateau. You're on a downward trajectory. It might be hard to notice, but it is a fact. You're either growing or you're dying. All right. So that's my personal opinion. You don't have to have that same opinion. I'd love to know what you think in the comments below. And another thing too to bring up is that not everybody has a greater purpose or even wants one, which is also okay. But for those who are compelled by this feeling to have some type of greater purpose, you are the lucky few who are meant to make a difference, in my opinion. So I feel like if you have a higher purpose, but you aren't sure what it is, now it's time to soul search, right? So you don't necessarily have to have a higher purpose, like I said, but if you feel like maybe you do, you're just not sure what it is, here we go. It's time to soul search, right? And this is a crucial part of it all. You have to really explore your interests and do the soul searching and figure out what it is that you even like to do and what you care about, right? Is there something that you find very interesting or find yourself thinking about a lot? Any topics that you find yourself talking about a lot or bringing up in conversation often? So think about that, try to figure out what it is that you really, really care about. Think about a problem in the world. Something, maybe a problem that you'd like to solve, and think about how you would actually go about solving it, right? So that's another good way to try to start brainstorming and thinking of ideas of what your higher purpose could really be. What's that greater calling? Now, an important thing in my opinion as well is you really have to be patient with your soul searching. It could take days, weeks, or even years. It could take literally years of your life. I know lots of people who are in their old age and still trying to figure out what they're trying to do with their life. So, be patient, all right? Like all things in life, patience is always going to be rewarded. And who knows, it might even just strike you one day when you're least expecting it. So you can also start just simply by helping others and see where it leads, right? So this is kind of going back to the beginning where I said that, a lot of people just equate a higher calling to doing anything that helps people. And if that's enough for you, if that makes you feel fulfilled, then that's great. You can start by donating your time, donating your talent, donating money or your energy in whatever projects or organizations that it is, right? And there's absolutely, bless your heart, that's an amazing thing, right? Now, think about your life vision, okay? This is a helpful step for me personally. Think about where or who you want to be at the end of it all. What do you want people to say about you at your funeral, or what you want to be remembered for, all right? Now, I don't say this in a sense of caring about what people say about you, because obviously we don't want to take other people's opinions too seriously or seriously at all, especially if they're not qualified to be giving us an opinion about something. But it's an exercise, all right? It's a mental exercise to think about, kind of gain insight on what would make you proud of yourself to hear others say about you, right? So imagine at your funeral, you hear them say, Jimmy, he spent his whole life, sitting in on the couch eating Cheetos, probably not going to feel that great, right? Versus, Jimmy, he, founded a chain of orphanages that, helped, foster kids to find parents, or, whatever it is. That's going to probably make you feel better than eating Cheetos on the couch, right? So it's a mental exercise, not basing what we're going to do with our lives off of what other people might think, but using it as an exercise to imagine and gain insight on what would make us proud of ourselves, okay? So think about that. Do that little mental exercise. I highly encourage you. Another really helpful thing to do is surround yourself with purposeful and positive people, all right? Purposeful and positive people are crucial and are going to help you in more than just this one way. But if you can talk to them and get their feedback about what they do, get some feedback from them about your ideas, potential opportunities to find a higher calling, it could be very helpful for you. In addition to that, just talking to new people in general, make new friends, get different perspectives, have different conversations with people. Start with identifying what's important to you, all right? And then when you have these conversations, you'll have a better idea of what it is that you want to bring up and kind of bounce off of other people and get some feedback from them. So think about what's important to you. Write it down. Write down everything that's important to you, why those things are important to you, everything associated with those ideas and those things. And if nothing stands out to you as important, in my opinion, then you might need to go and have some more life experiences. So that could be a tough pill to swallow if you're impatient and you're like, man, I want to get out there. I want to start doing good in the world, or I want to start, doing something. I need some kind of greater calling. I'm unfulfilled. But if you can't think about something that matters enough to you that it would make you, just infinitely proud, and it'd be impossible to make you even more proud to hear people describing about you at your funeral. If it's hard for you to come up with something like that and really hone in on something, then you might need to go have some more life experiences, do more soul searching, meet more people, talk to more people, meet more positive and purposeful people, and add them into your life, add them into your inner circle, and keep that thing moving. Another helpful way to start brainstorming and thinking of ideas for a greater calling, a greater purpose, is, do you have a leg up in anything? Something that'll make you have a bigger impact, or make it easier for you to have an impact. If not, it's okay, but it's definitely nice to have some kind of competitive advantage. Like for me, I have a competitive advantage in real estate because I'm a realtor, right? So this is getting to my greater purpose now, all right? So here's the elevator pitch. I've created a nonprofit idea that'll directly create generational wealth in Miami communities that traditionally lack generational wealth and are underserved and underfunded. So we'll do this by identifying exemplary members of the community. Think teachers, administrators, social workers, nurses, firefighters, etc., right? Who have been giving back to our community for years and years and years, and who've recently fallen on hard times, right? So maybe they had a family member die, like a primary breadwinner or spouse or something like that. So then we want to give those people a year of free rent so that they can save to buy their own home at the end of that year. So this will change their family tree and create a ripple effect of untold, immeasurable amounts of goodwill to those around them. So directly affecting the communities, right? And it'll also directly inject real equity and long-term generational wealth into these communities in the form of real estate ownership, okay? So, wow, that sounds amazing. How are you gonna do it, right? So with the Fletcher Group, my real estate group under Remax Advanced Realty, for every $2 million of GCI, gross commission income, that the Fletcher Group creates per year, we will buy one rental property in the name of the business, right? So this is something that's going to have to happen as I scale my business. Right now, I'm just a single agent. I will be making a hire this year of an administrator, and then I'll start to add buyer's agents and listing agents to the business as well. As I add more agents, the ability to create more gross commission income increases. And once we get to that $2 million, we're going to buy a rental property, right? It could be a single family home, a duplex, a triplex, fourplex, and then we're going to use a sort of a covert system of finding our candidates and randomly selecting a participant, right? Because I don't want it to be like some type of Hunger Games thing or something where people are like competing, or Squid Games or whatever. It's going to be very covert and under wraps, and the people who are in the runnings for it won't even know that they're being in the runnings until we narrow it down to a select few people and do kind of like interviews and make sure that it would be a good fit for them and everything. So I do feel like the universe requires some form of energy exchange for anything that's actually real. So some type of energy exchange will occur within their capacity, and it'll be agreed upon by everyone. So think like, if maybe they're able to do some maintenance or some yard work, or, paint the house or something like that, right? So I personally also will have a direct hand in consulting with them on their finances, the same way I do with all of my first-time buyers. So at the end of that year, they're going to be completely set up and ready to buy, okay? Then we'll also be offering internship opportunities in the Fletcher Group for their family members or kids, where they can work with us and learn the real estate industry and actually get paid, okay? So at the same time that their family member is getting free rent, they could also be making an income doing a, whatever internship role. I mean, it's a multifaceted organization, so I'm sure there's something that they might be interested in, right? Now, every $2 million of GCI, the gross commission income, is another property. And each property recurs each year with a new participant, right? So it's not just one and done, right? So if we reach 2 million GCI 3 years in a row, and that's three properties, and each one of those properties will have a new recipient each year. So if we did $2 million GCI 3 years in a row, that would equal a total of 6 families helped out by the end of a roughly 4-year period, all right? So, wow, that sounds like a money-losing idea there, Jake. How are you going to make it work? So costs are going to be mitigated through charitable contribution write-offs, right? Tax write-offs, prioritizing multifamily investments where other rental income can be generated at the same time, and by a portion of the income generated by representing the participants in that ultimate purchase of their first home, to name a few, right? So we get a break in buying these properties because we're the agents, right? So we can contribute that commission to the sale, right? To mitigate the cost. And then on the back end, whenever those people are ready to go buy, we can represent them. Now, they won't be necessarily required to be represented by us, but it'll definitely be very much appreciated. And so, of course, there's also lots of other great tax advantages to owning real estate. So that'll help as well, and, help the program to be very efficient financially. So, the vision long-term here, I really hope this idea catches on around the world and incentivizes other people to do something similar in their communities. So think globally, act locally, right? So I've always loved that concept of thinking globally and acting locally, and that was a big sort of concept that played into the about year and a half that it took me to really fully formulate this idea. And there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more details, but I don't want to put every single detail out there because this video would probably be like an hour long. But another thing about it is if we get grants involved in the program, then it could also potentially scale up rather quickly, right? So, this is my greater purpose, my greater vision. So I really took a lot of time and patience to meditate on this, think about what matters to me. What matters to me is helping my community, helping people who are helping others, right? Giving those people a break and building generational wealth in communities that traditionally lack that generational wealth. Because the more homeowners there are, the more stable our communities are. I think back to when I was broke, and one of the things that made it really tough for me about being broke is a lack of stability, not having stable rent prices, not having a place that I knew for sure that I could always call home, having to move around sometimes and stuff like that, the costs associated with that, just not having stability in general, and that takes form in other ways as well for other people, but overall, when it comes down to it, in my opinion, what makes being poor so difficult ultimately boils down to a lack of stability in one way, shape, or form. So we're helping to provide stability to these people who are helping out our communities so much, and we're bettering our communities by creating more generational wealth. We're changing people's family trees, and then the real beautiful thing, again, is the ripple effects, right? Because we help that family, we help them achieve generational wealth. Now, everyone down the line in their family tree, and everybody who they are associated with or touch in some way are going to be affected by this in some way, right? Because now that family, that participant family, is going to be better off, right? And they're going to be able to extend more goodwill to other people and keep giving back to our community in an even bigger way than they were before. So that's my vision, guys. That's the idea. That's the whole point of the Fletcher Group. And I know that as I hire people and bring people onto my firm, that this is something that who can't get behind that idea, right? We all live here in this community, so let's make it better, right? And let's create more wealth. And as a realtor, the more people who own homes is better for my industry, right? So it's just a win-win-win-win-win scenario, and I'm really excited about it. It fires me up. It's something I can get excited about every day, and that's it. That's kind of the idea in a nutshell. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. So let me know in the comments if you think that's a good idea, if you think it's a shit idea. I'm open to hear what you guys think. But yeah, definitely drop me a comment, hit the like button, subscribe, and hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure that you're following me on my new Instagram at the Drone Realtor, where we're doing complimentary drone roof previews for all of our buyer clients and seller clients from here on out. We bring the drone to the showings, to the listing appointments, and then boom, 4K video right up there on top of your roof. We can see what it looks like before you spend the time and money on inspection. So follow me at the Drone Realtor. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Jake Fletcher Show. I'll catch you on the next one. Until then, sell smart, buy bold. Peace.